Hello, part 4 now of the A to Z movies. We're on M, so without further ado, what you got for M?
Well, I think we talked a bit about it before, but The Mist, brilliant film, and it's another one of those films that's not like.
No, that's the one that I was talking about.
That's one
with
that
the
you were
Walking Dead
talking about,
cast,
yeah. Because it's another one of those films that it's a brutal ending. Brutal ending, and it's kind of there's two versions actually of it. I've got both. So there's the normal
version
film.
of ending, or
No, the film as a whole.
oh right, okay.
So there's how Sin City, anything in red, or what's the other one? Is it Schindler's List? Boy in the Striped Pyjamas. Can't remember, but one of those, one of the prison camp one, where the only thing is there's one thing that's red throughout the film. Pardon me. There's a copy of The Mist where anything that's red is red, but the rest of it is black and white.
Yeah, different versions.
It's really, really clever. There, a black and white version.
Oh yeah.
There is a few out there. There is the 4K version, but there is a very clever little.
Because the guy who directed it wasn't he the showrunner for Walking Dead for season 1 and 2?
Darabont?
So?
Frank Darabont?
Yes. Yeah, that name rings a bell. That name does ring a bell. Yeah, Frank Darabont.
There you go.
Oh, he did season 1 show.
He did season 1
Yeah.
and then did yeah.
Yeah, I think they sacked him off or something. I think.
Thing is, if he created, I don't get how you can. I don't know. It's TV, it's show business, isn't it? Show business. But
it was a big animal as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So.
But yeah, the Mist, I think, is another one of those. Again, like The Fog. I like that kind of. Again, Silent Hillish as well. It's that. I like that kind of thing. But what's your first one?
Monsters Inc.
Brilliant. Yeah.
As a kid, that was like
Another one of those.
such a good movie.
Even if they made 30 more, the first one's brilliant. Yeah. And again, Billy Crystal and John Goodman doing the film, doing the voices.
Yep, the voices. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got The Mummy.
Tom Cruise or Brendan Fraser,
Brendan Fraser.
or Universal Boris Karloff. What are we talking?
No, Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser. Yes, that and The Mummy Returns are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
The ride is fantastic
yeah,
as well.
I knew it. I knew there'd be a ride somewhere.
Oh, mate, so it's called Revenge of the Mummy.
Yeah.
It's such a good
Is it
ride.
still there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to have a look.
Yeah. Yeah, you literally at one point you go into when he goes what?
Yeah.
The ride goes into his mouth.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I'll have to have a look at that. Because those two, because there's another couple after it. Because there's Scorpion King, which I think is at The Rock's first film.
No, I think Mummy Returns is his first movie.
Have a look. I want to know now.
Yeah. And then you had what was it, like the Emperor thing?
Well, I knew he played the Scorpion King.
Oh, sorry, I meant with the Mummy movies. It was something to do with the Emperor, wasn't it?
Oh, in the flashback sequence.
No, like
Is he filmed in that?
No, the actual movie, The Mummy. The third movie doesn't have The Rock in it. What was it called?
Yeah, Scorpion King.
No, the third movie, the actual movie itself, is Rise of the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, or something like that. The Mummy movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because the Scorpion King's kind of like a spin-off, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, Tomb of the Dragon
But
Emperor.
I wondered if that. Yeah, Tomb of the Dragon. That's.
It's okay. It's not as good as.
It's not bad. I'm trying to remember the bloody person. Is it?
And they got rid of Rachel
Rice
for.
Which is a shame. I thought she was quite good.
I don't know why she didn't come back for that.
What was his first film?
I don't know. I'm trying to find his movie acting career. Here we go.
Here we go.
The Mummy Returns.
It was a Mummy Returns. It's Matthias.
Yeah.
And then Scorpion King. Long shot.
It was his first lead role, technically speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doom.
We don't know all that.
I love the Mummy movies. I think they're really good. Music's good in it as well.
Yeah. And again, I love John Hannah in that.
The Mummy to me is like, he's good.
he's like, the half of that's mine, by the way. I don't know what you're talking about. I love him in that.
It reminded me of sort of a more child-friendly Terminator movie. It's like this unstoppable creature
that's not OTT and you could watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. But again, that's a lot of. I've forgotten the director for Mummy.
Oh God, I don't know. Who directed the Mummy movie?
You'll tell me his name and I'll go, yeah.
Stephen Summers?
Stephen Summers, that's it, yeah. Because he did 1 and 2, didn't he?
Yeah, and Van Helsing. I've got that as V, actually. We'll talk about that.
Deep Rising. That's a silly little film, but it's good. Treat Williams, Frank Jensen.
Yeah.
But
my other M is Matrix. The Matrix.
Yes, I've got Matrix mainly due to the whole gamut of it, the story in its entire telling.
Yeah.
I think the first Matrix is almost like a film for a digital world.
Yeah.
It's the way it's done.
I feel like it's made before it should have been
made before its time.
Yeah.
It's one of those things of like, it's a brilliant story. It's brilliantly done. The music, another one, Club to Death. All the music in that is spot on. But it's another brilliant warning.
Yeah.
As well of come on, think.
Yeah.
You know, it's very, very good.
What we're creating.
Yeah,
is,
and also from a double digital edge as well. There's like obviously you've got what's his bloody name?
What, the actor?
Yeah, Captain of Rivendell. As a daughter, Samantha. Hugo Weaving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who plays Agent? What's it?
Oh
Lord of
the Rings.
Yeah. So where he's kind of like playing that agent.
Yeah.
And is
Smith.
That's it. Yeah.
Agent Smith.
Yeah. That first one, it's kind of like he's the man in it as a digital point of view.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, not only have you got this inner digital baddie, you've now got the machines coming as well.
Yeah,
There's another engineering baddie kind of thing, which is really, really good. So you've got both physical and digital elements, software elements that are both bad. Yeah. And it kind of gives you the warning of, no, don't...
And he's like a virus.
Yeah. It's almost kind of like a digital Terminator in a weird way that's really told well.
Yeah.
And of course the Wachowski brothers, who are...
Yeah.
Sisters, I think, aren't they?
I don't even know how I'm spelling that. I was going to go with The Matrix and then go from there. Find it that way. Sisters.
Yeah.
Lana
Sisters.
and Lily.
Yeah.
I thought it was brother and sister, but not. That's not
Apparently
the case.
not.
So you got anything else for M?
The only other things that I had for it, we had the little chat about it before, but talking about MASH, how MASH was a film, but everybody remembers the TV series.
Yeah.
Now, I love the TV series.
1970 was the
Robert
film.
Altman. And again, Donald Sutherland, Sally Kahneman.
TV series started in 1972.
It did it a lot later, and you've got Alan Alda, you've got Gary Berghoff, who came back to play Radar, and then later on you've got Mike Farrow, who plays BJ, Jamie Farr, Harry Morgan, who played the commander, the colonel later. There's a colonel before Sherman Potter. Yeah. And Larry Linville, who played, and then William Christopher, who played Father Mulcahy after René Auberjonois played him. But the series went on longer than the war.
Right.
It was so popular that the actual filming of MASH...
It's for Vietnam.
It's for Vietnam. Going back to what we're talking about with wars and everything, and what was taken first. I mean, have you ever seen?
No, this is the Korean War.
Korean War, yeah.
Korean
Sorry.
War.
So have you ever seen Full Metal Jacket?
Yes.
Good film.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Apocalypse Now?
Like, no. So I'm going to say no. It's Francis Ford Coppola in it. Yeah.
We Were Soldiers. Mel Gibson.
Yes.
That's a good little film.
That's a good movie.
That's a very good film.
Yeah, Dad and I watched that years ago. Yeah.
Very good film. Those kind of things around that time depicted.
We Were Soldiers is Vietnam.
Yeah. And all those things around Korea, Vietnam and that. But this was, as we said, Korea. And it went on for longer than the war went on. I think there's 11 series of MASH. But everybody remembers the series.
I did say earlier how many it was.
But it's also how I pretty much come up with my sense of humour.
Right.
Because my sense of humour is pretty much Morecambe and Wise, 2 Ronnies.
11 series.
Mix with a bit of how Hawkeye and that are in it. It's a black comedy thing.
Mm.
And a lot of people you find who are comedians or whatever usually end up being the people who were left on their own in the playground or were picked last at football. And
Oh
things
well,
like
like
that.
people like even modern day, like Joe Rogan said, like he was bullied at school and stuff because he was like a kid who would always move around
and
to
it
different,
always
different parts of the US.
comedy for a lot of people has always been actually a mask. Because I wasn't bullied. I wasn't really bullied, no, but I was always in the middle. I was never the sporty person, believe it or not. But I was also the nerdy person.
Oh, I dabbled in everything.
Yeah, exactly. But I've since then become a bit known as.
I was a social chameleon. I could go to any colour.
I could talk to a lot of people, but I've always been, as you're ascertained to, Edmo.
Yeah.
There are some people who don't know.
Matt Edmonds.
My name's Matt.
Yeah. Edmo. Yeah.
Everybody will say Edmo, and it's been that way since the end of Gable Hall. And I'm 40 next year.
Yeah.
And I've always been the jester. And a lot of it I think comes from right, I'll get this out of the way now, right? Are we allowed to be serious for a minute?
Yeah.
I do not take things seriously. I do not take life seriously. And this is almost actually admittance. It's almost like therapy, actually. And this is an admittance to people out there. If they watch this, they will know what I'm talking about. Someone especially. I act like a child.
Right.
I am
a big kid.
I am a big kid. I am not capable. It's not that I'm not capable, but I don't think of things seriously as I should. Is that a chase of youth? Possibly. Am I still trying to be 20?
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably shouldn't be doing that. I just do it automatically.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong. You're not doing anything like illegal.
No. I'm not doing anything like that. But I think I've made people's lives. I think I'd like to hope that I've made people's lives a little better in crappy situations, made them laugh and everything. Yeah. But I know
I know exactly what you're.
I know there are people
saying,
Beck especially, where I've played the fool, and I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Really. To be perfectly honest.
You're comfortable with that role more so than the serious role.
Yes, and this leads back to the thing with MASH. Operating on people is a serious thing. How do you get through it? By making people laugh. That's where black comedy comes from. That black humour.
Yeah.
Train drivers have it. Ambulance men have it.
Yeah.
Firefighters have it. That kind of thing where you've got to try and get through things.
The bad situation, find the good out of the bad
and I
situation.
think, again, a bit like now with everything that's happening, I think that's what I got from MASH, and that's why I've put it on there. Yeah. The ability to try and laugh through things. Because if you don't, you will sit there and go, what the hell is going on? And I think there's a lot of things in that. I'll give you a modern day version of that. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
Yeah.
When the chips are down and everything, it'll always be a joke. It'll always be things like that. Yeah. The same kind of thing. Yeah, I don't have to be serious now for another 6 years.
No, it was good. It was good. That's the beauty of it being live, mate. We can do what we want. Ends. Are you happy to go?
Hang a minute. We've done Moonraker a bit, haven't we? Bond.
We didn't mention.
See, Moonraker. I love Moonraker.
Oh, that's the thing. I couldn't put Bonds for every single letter because we've been here all day.
But we've been
here for a good chunk of the day anyway.
The only thing I would mention about Moonraker that we love, brilliant baddie, Drax.
Yeah.
Filming's great. Jaws.
Turning Jaws good was a bit weird.
It's one of those ones where you're like, oh, he's come good and survived re-entry somehow. Don't ask me that. But
with some small girl.
I really like Moonraker. It's the Christmas film that will be on every year before Die Hard. But Moonraker, little shout out to a couple of things. Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah.
Quite like those films. I think they're quite good. The Mask.
Oh, Jim Carrey.
That's kind of where, in a weird way, which will link, bear with me on this, how it kind of links with Marvel. Because with Thor and everything like that, all those Norse gods and everything, you work out that Loki is the Norse god of mischief, which is what the mask is based on. So it's interesting that mask...
I'm too busy looking at Cameron Diaz to be there for...
That shot. As she comes in from the rain. That was a coming of age moment. Anyway, calm down. Yeah. Anyway, but that shot where he's in the doctor's or the therapist's room and he says, this is the mask of Loki, the Norse god of mischief. and that's why he's all doolally and bonkers. When you sit there and now think of Tom Hiddleston?
Hiddleston.
He's Loki.
Tom Hiddleston.
And you sit there and think The Mask,
Hiddleston.
Jim Carrey, and Loki, Tom Hiddleston, are the same person.
Yeah, that is.
When you work it out like that, you're like, oh wow.
We should have spoken of this in the first hour, not in the fourth hour.
Yeah, sorry.
Everyone's mind's just blown already.
Everybody's like,
The people that were still left.
it start.
The people that were still left are now gone.
Moonraker, The Mask, Mission Impossible, and a little bit from being a sci-fi fan, Metropolis.
Oh God, like the German.
Metropolis is a Fritz Lang film that was made in 1927.
Yes.
And it's basically, I mean, it's bloody eerie to look at, to be honest, sometimes. But it's literally the first film of that kind of
futuristic
sci-fi dystopian kind of thing. And it follows on very much, it could almost be like an Isaac Asimov novel, like kind of iRobot or Foundation, where it's very, very dystopian, but cool. But I think it's the first time that we get that kind of that kind of thing, and where woman and the lines across between robot, living, life, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Metropolis, 1927. Bit of a game changer.
N. We said New Hope, didn't we?
New Hope, we've gone for a New Hope, which again, I think is it's always going to be the start for anybody who wasn't alive before 2005.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're born after probably 2005, you probably go, oh, the prequels.
Well, yeah. Anybody kind of my age is going to be like Star Wars, and I'll be like New Hope. Yeah. Or like we were like Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi.
I'm the same though.
You are now going to have people who are in their teens, 20s, and you say Star Wars, and the first thing they'll go is Mandalorian.
Yeah. Or they'll say Episode 7.
Episode 7, yeah. Which we're going to ignore.
Yeah. I've got 2 extra for ends.
Go on.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, Robert England, yeah.
And No Country for Old Men. Have you never watched it?
Never seen it.
Oh, it's good.
Go on.
No Country for Old Men. There you go.
Ah.
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem.
Josh Brolin. Woody Harrelson.
He's just come out into it looks quite. I love Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes.
It looks like he's in a film, and it's about the devil, but it's a live TV show.
Right.
And they almost do this thing live on air.
It's the Coen brothers that do
What's this?
the No Country for Old Men.
Right, I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, it's good. I watched it once.
Yeah.
It's a bit like ooh, at first, but
Yeah. No, I'm gonna have to watch that. But
I
yeah,
liked it.
yeah. This I think so. Yeah, Javier Bardem. I'm sure it's him, but it's kind of like a not Mexico, Argentina. I don't know. It's kind of like that Spanish kind of show,
Right.
and it's relatively new. Relatively new.
The Devil's Backbone.
No,
No, it's
although that
2001.
looks freaky as hell.
That looks fucked. Yeah, we don't want that.
I'll have a look and I'll let you
Yeah.
know. But it's basically this live show, and they go, "We're going to do it live on air
Right.
through the TV," and it all goes
Is it an
wrong.
actual TV show?
It's an actual. No, it's a film.
It's
It's
a
an
film.
actual film, but it's the filming of a TV show.
Right.
And it happens live on there. And it is, it's so good. I'd have probably cocked it up, and it's not actually him.
Javier Bardem looks a little bit like Negan, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Old, Jeffrey D. Morgan.
Morgan, yeah.
No, F1 is the only movie. Spellbound, but
No.
it's a voice role.
No, I'll find it out. It might not be him. I'll find it out and I'll let you know. But
It's actually Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
It's actually, it's not even a bloke. It's probably a woman. And
Have you got any other ends?
the only other thing, we've gone through Naked Gun.
Yeah.
We mentioned Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
Night of the Living Dead, where a lot of that took a lot of from, as we said, things like I Am Legend and everything, but leads us into the things like George A. Romero and all that kind of thing.
Well,
and again, that's a whole thing.
if we don't
in
have
itself.
that, we don't get Resident Evil.
Yeah, if we don't have that, we don't have Resident Evil. We don't really have a lot of things, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only other one I did put down was No Time to Die.
Yeah.
Mainly because of what it is in
It's
canon.
the end of
It's the end
Craig's,
of. It's the end, not only is it the end, because of course he's the only one that's got a death scene.
Yeah.
when you actually look at it and sit
I
there
don't
and
like
think,
that they killed.
when you actually sit there and think, whether you like it or not, they've
Yeah.
made a big decision to go,
Yeah.
we're going to kill Bond.
Yeah, I didn't like it personally.
Bearing in mind, Bond is the cool name for all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Bond. Yeah, they're not saying it's the same person.
To sit there and go, this is how the spy dies this time. It's never been done before, and it's kind of like it's cinematic history, but did it have to be done? Maybe. I mean, it's done. So. It's done in a kind of family kind of way, isn't it? With the kid and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a big thing. Whether it should have been done.
Yeah.
Only you.
Decent movie, but I didn't think it was Craig's best. I think Skyfall was his best.
Skyfall's brilliant. Skyfall and Spectre, I think, are really good.
I've got On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yes, that's the first one I put. Again, for reasons I said earlier, it's a pivotal
1969. I love the song All the Time in the World.
Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, Louis Armstrong. Yeah. We have all the time in the world.
He dies.
Great, what a great song.
Yeah, because there's a couple. Is there a Kiss Kiss Bang Bang part of that as well?
Diana Rigg,
yeah,
fantastic Bond girl.
Yeah.
One of my favourite Bond girls.
And again, as I said, it's a pivotal moment in Bond's history, and he goes Aggie and whatnot, because they're in the car at the time, isn't it? It's drive-by.
Mm-hmm.
And spoilers.
Yeah, he goes, that's Blofeld, and then it just ends on Diana Rigg.
And it's such a pivotal point in his history, and you're like, if it had been Connery,
oh god, would have been a great. Because then Diamonds Are Forever.
There would have been about half an hour of just pure action scenes as Sean Connery goes and kills everybody on the planet. Roger Moore, I think there would have been a way where he'd have been angry, but certainly not as angry as like Sean Connery would have been. And Pierce Brosnan, I think would have still done it justice. To be fair,
I've put Octopussy down as well because we spoke about that.
Yeah,
earlier.
Octopussy's brilliant.
Have you seen Oppenheimer?
No, I want to. Is it good?
It's good. I watched it in IMAX.
Cillian Murphy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, no, I will have to watch that.
A bit more current day rather than all these older movies that we're talking about. But
he says current day, but it's like 1951, isn't it? Based around.
Well, yes, but the actual movie itself was last year.
Yeah.
Because it's Barbenheimer.
No, is it Nolan?
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was 1945, basically.
Yeah.
Or 1944. I think 1944 they were starting to do. Well, they were doing
based
it like
on the Manhattan Project.
Yeah. All the secrecy.
Do you want to tell them what the Manhattan Project is?
I think people should just Google Manhattan Project. Yeah,
it's not they're building an apartment. In
no,
Manhattan.
it's a secret.
A bit more destructive.
Secret plan to build the nuclear weapon.
The A bomb, H bomb.
Yeah.
For I have become the destructor of worlds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will have to watch that. But the only other old sci-fi I've mentioned a bit, and this other thing I think a link that we've been talking about composers and films, because I've put Once Upon a Time in the West, which is very classic. If you haven't watched that again, where all these things again like. I
thought you were going to say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino movie.
Never seen it.
It's decent. It's nowhere near his best.
No.
What was it? Sorry,
Once Upon a Time in the West. And then there's Once Upon a Time in America. There's Once Upon a Time in Mexico. There's loads that are basic. There you are. That's it. So 1968, part Western, part
Charles Bronson.
Yeah.
Henry Fonda as well.
Yeah. But Sergio Leone film. And it's a lot of these films where you get like, I'm sure, was it Ennio Morricone composed it? But he did, there's films like The Mission and that, with Ennio Morricone.
Yeah, spaghetti westerns.
Yeah.
Love spaghetti westerns. Yeah, Dad used to watch them all the time. The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. I actually own a Blu-ray of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But all of them, I think they're brilliant. And again, those films, which are like the kind of Middle European films. And again, one of my favourite composers, Ennio Morricone. Just some of the music is just so haunting. It's spot where you don't need anybody to even act. They're just like, it's spot on.
Yeah.
But those kind of films I love. Again, like we were saying earlier, if you've got a spare couple of hours, just watch something.
P? You have to go on P?
P, I've got Pulp Fiction.
Yes. I think that speaks for itself, really, doesn't it?
Pulp Fiction. Again, we seem to be going back to those early ones.
My favourite Quentin Tarantino movie.
We seem to be going back to those early ones. And again, it's just perfect for Samuel Jackson,
John Travolta dancing for the first time in like 2 decades.
Yeah, and again, there's some old Travolta films.
Uma
Thurman, yeah.
The soundtrack, Bruce Willis, Christopher Walken.
There's a lot of people.
The guy who plays what's his name? The Winston Wolfe actor. Winston Wolfe, I fixed problems.
Yeah,
it's good because we've got one. You're
gonna have to type it in.
It's so annoying.
We have bought a lot of
Harvey Keitel.
That's it.
Shit. But yeah, the Wolf.
Yeah.
I'm on that motherfucker. my son as follows. I'm on that motherfucker. Yeah. Do you know, right? You know that plaster he's got on the back of his neck?
Zed. Yeah.
That's actually like an accident he had, the actor, and he was just like, we'll keep it.
So it's not part of the get-up?
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Brilliant. The only other ones that I had for P were Pirates of the Caribbean.
I'll put that down as well, yeah.
And again, mainly the first one, because it kind of outset...
Yeah, the first one set a marker and it was never done better.
Even if they'd have never made any more, I think everybody would remember that film.
I think you could have just left it at that
You could have just left it at that, and everybody would remember
that. But it's money in it.
Yeah.
It's money.
It's once you've found something that...
Yeah, you hit a pot of gold.
You bleed it dry.
Yeah.
Purge.
Oh, the Purge movies, yeah.
First one against the best.
Yeah.
But it's another one of those things of 24 hours, do what you like.
Lena Headey's in it as well.
Yes.
And not Josh Brolin, is it? Who's the dad?
I think you might be right.
Is it Josh Brolin?
I think you might be right.
The first Purge. 2013.
Yeah. It's about 10
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah,
but Lena Headey's in it.
Yeah.
Hodge.
Oh, that's that stupid son who lets the guy in.
Yeah. Yeah, Max Burkhold.
Literally, if he doesn't let that son in, none of that advert, the movie doesn't happen.
It's another one of those everything pindles on that.
Yeah, on one thing. But yeah.
The only other thing as well...
I've got Phantom Menace, because...
The first...
episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1.
The Duel of the Fates last half. I've mentioned this in episode 2 of this series.
Duel of the Fates, John Williams, the music in it that goes with it.
That's the best Star Wars music,
Duel of the Fates. Isn't it? That's Ian McGregor, Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah,
and Darth Maul. Yeah. And again, I wish there was an episode 1.5. Or even like a 0.5.
What's that for?
So we get more info on Darth Maul.
We do get a little bit more though in the animated
series. We do, but I really would have liked to have seen something.
A little bit of origin.
I mean, now they're probably planning an 8-episode series.
I'm not being funny. There's books probably that cover extended universe.
There's probably
books,
a load of fluff on it, but
yeah.
Sorry,
what were your other P's?
The only other P I had after that is, I think at the time I remember it because it's huge.
Oh shit! I've just thought of a P. Predator.
Oh yeah, what, new or old?
Old.
The Arnie one. Yeah.
Like,
brilliant film.
You ugly motherfucker.
You ugly motherfucker.
Yeah.
And again, Alien versus Predator, which you'd think they'd be like, well, you'd
say
there's two brilliant things. No.
Paul W. Sanderson, I don't know, he just...
he does, some things are brilliant.
He makes okay movies. He never makes a bad movie.
No, I wouldn't say he's made a bad movie, but yeah.
Like Mortal Kombat as well. So.
Even RoboCop.
Huh?
Did you do RoboCop?
No.
Who did RoboCop?
RoboCop's the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
definitely weren't Paul W. Sanderson.
I need to know.
Sounds like I was elected to lead, not to read. RoboCop.
RoboCop.
That is on my R's. So.
Yeah, not the new one either.
Oh, no.
No. Oh, no.
Just give me RoboCop 1, for fuck's sake. Like, look, of all these, why is the first one not the... Thank you. God almighty.
Who did it?
Paul
Verhoeven. I think he's the same person who did...
Basic Instinct?
Yeah,
Starship
Showgirls.
Starship
Troopers. Yeah, and Total Recall.
Hell, this guy's got... I'd never heard of this bloke.
Yeah, he's done some proper ones. Total Recall. He did Starship Troopers. I don't think he did all of them. He might have done 1 and 3. Hollow Man's a good film.
Yeah. It's Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Really, really good film. Yeah, he's done some bangers, man.
You got any other P's?
Yeah, the only two I was going to mention, because one makes you think and one's just purely because at the time it was.
Right.
Pokemon, the first film.
Oh, great.
When that came
Love
out, and everybody was like, it's
Mewtwo.
Mew and Mewtwo.
Yeah.
We were like,
Oh, shit, yeah.
yeah. We were like, that was, Jesus. But the only other one, now, talking about, I've always had a thing for B movies.
Right.
I love sci-fi B movies. I love cheap, silly horror films.
Right.
All the films that you usually get on sci-fi with people you've never seen.
Yeah.
And
They're on like 2 in the morning.
they're on at 2 in the morning, and you're like, what's on? Sharknado 10. And you're like, oh, watch it. And you're like, actually, no, this is so silly, it's good. Yeah. There was a film, a horror film, it's actually gone by a couple of names, as movies usually are. When a cut changes, they usually end up renaming the film. Right. That usually changes from Italy to Britain to America to wherever.
Yeah.
And there was a film that's known round on the UK called Prosy. She's a prostitute.
Oh, right, yeah. I was thinking, where are we going with this?
Right, anyway. Right, so what happens is, she commits a murder.
Right.
To stop stuff happening, right?
Okay.
However, she's schizophrenic and has double... She thinks she's 2 people.
Oh, right, okay. So, multiple personality disorder.
So she has multiple personality disorder. She has one side of her that's perfectly normal and fine. And she has the other side of her that doesn't like being taken for a mug and gets angry and everything.
Right.
So what happens is she commits the murder. They prove that she's got multiple personality disorder. So can you put the person who's innocent away for the mad one that's done the crime?
Same person.
It's a really clever film. And it's silly because it was done as a B movie and everybody thought, oh no, it's just a chance to show tits and everything like that. Yeah. And it wasn't. Yeah. It's a really...
Yeah, if you stumbled across it, you go,
you'd be like, I'm not watching this
I know what type of movie this is going to be.
But there's some films like that. Again, Contamination, as I was talking about earlier. There are films where if you watch them, actually, the story is really, really good. It's such a shame that it was done for £3.20. Yeah. It's that kind of thing. I love films like that. I love films like that. Yeah,
Q. Quantum of Solace, that's the only one I got.
Quantum of Solace I have got. The other one I thought in recent times has been really... Because there hasn't been mega good horror films of recent, I don't think.
No, they're mainly ghosts or poltergeists.
I don't mind those films, but they've got to have a storyline to them. Yeah. But I thought Quiet Places was quite good.
Yeah, I've heard of
I thought Quiet Places Part 1 and 2 was really, really quite good.
I've heard, though, there's like a bit of a why the fuck do they just not move everyone to the waterfall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, where they can talk openly.
Yeah.
And then they're having a baby as well.
Or just write it down and go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, no, it's decent.
The only other one, again, for me being a sci-fi person, you might have heard of it, Quatermass.
No.
Quatermass is another one of those 50s, 60s things that was created and it's been a TV series, it's been
and the
horror.
Pit.
And The Pit. Now, that's the one that everybody remembers.
Right.
And that was done by Hammer Horror. So that's about, what, 1966, 67? 67. And that would have been Andrew Keir, probably, being as Quatermass. But there have been loads of people who've played it. Sir John Mills and everything like that, where basically they find an alien, or they find the ship, what's left of the ship, and they take it apart, and then all hell breaks loose. But from a sci-fi point of view, there's about 6 films, there's about 4 different series and things like that. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's another one of those...
Oh yeah, there is, yeah.
Yeah, you end up watching it and you're like, oh, I'll watch this. And then an hour and a half goes by, it finishes, and you're like, shit, I've been watching that for an hour and a half. It's one of those things where you can get lost in it if it's your kind of thing. But yeah.
Is that Q?
That's Q, man.
We've got 26 minutes. Do you think we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 letters done?
Yeah.
We'll flash through them. So most of them, like, they speak for themselves.
I mean, for me, for R was Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I put Return of the Jedi.
Again, as we've said, of the calibre of Empire.
It's my favourite lightsaber duel of the original 3.
Yeah.
The you know when he goes at night, never, and he's like, and then you got that music like,
yeah.
You know, and he's obviously then just raging at Vader, and then he cuts his hand off. And
did you nearly say his dad? Then? Some of them might not know.
Oh yeah, spoilers. Yeah. If no, unsubscribe if you don't know that.
Yeah. Everybody knows what they're
Oh, you ruined it. What? I've only watched the first 2.
I've only watched 7 to 9.
Yeah. Gary, you're not worth it. Yeah, Return of the Jedi, 1983 movie.
I put Return of the King, so part 3 of the Lord of the Rings, which just for its fight scenes in front
I've
of
got
Minister of History.
Rocky as a series.
Right. Okay. I'm going to be honest. This could possibly unfriend.
You don't like the Rocky movies?
I've only had. I need to watch the right one. I think. I have only ever got rid of 2 DVDs.
Wow.
One being Rocky 1. I watched half an hour and was like,
It is slow. It is slow.
it might as well have been the opening credits.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the only other one is Edward Scissorhands.
Oh,
They're the only two.
They're
the only two. They're the only 2 films I've actually got up and turned it off.
What about Elf? You said you didn't like Elf.
I didn't bother with it in the first place.
Right. Well, it's Will Ferrell.
Exactly.
Oh, fair enough.
There are some things I watch him in, like Producers. I think he's great in it. But that is
Anchorman, you were like, yeah.
Yeah, Anchorman, great. But that, I'm just like, it bites at me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you know what I mean? You know when something gnaws at you.
So you don't like any Rocky movie?
I haven't watched the rest. Where I didn't watch the first one. Where I didn't watch the first one.
Yeah, you need to watch the other ones for the other ones because they lead on.
Oh,
so
right.
that's the problem.
Do you like the older ones or the newer ones?
Oh, the older ones.
The older ones.
Yeah. 1 and 4 are my 2 favourites.
Yeah.
And my other R was RoboCop.
RoboCop, yeah, love that.
Love RoboCop.
Another
my favourite
one.
scene is the drug bust one.
Oh yeah.
When they're all like, "Oh fuck you," and then it's like he just starts
It's
murdering.
just on a rampage.
But like some of the shots are so funny because like he'll shoot someone and then they'll go backwards. You know what I mean? Great 80s movies.
Yeah, they're just some of those 80s films are just watchable. And there's an old one as well of Arnie's. I think it's called Red Heat.
Yeah.
And
yeah, he's a Russian and he teams up.
yeah,
With
and he teams up,
That's
and
a good
you
one.
watch it, and it's a really good film.
Yeah. It's a comedian who's his partner, isn't it? In Red Heat.
Yeah.
Definitely, it is. That guy, Jim
Belushi, yeah.
Belushi, yeah. That's his partner. In
Yeah.
Red Heat. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
But that was the era of the buddy cop movies, wasn't it? Like sort of
yeah,
thing.
because you had
Lethal Weapon,
Twins, you had Lethal Weapon, you had all of that kind of stuff. I think it was a really good time.
And then you had like the Rush Hours.
Rush Hours come out a little bit later, which was 2000s, I think. Actually, 1998 might be the first one. I think you'll have to check.
And then you had like Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly Hills Cop, first one, that's an 80s.
That's an
Last
80s.
one, I think, Beverly Hills Cop 3 is 1993.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, as we said, Return of the King, The Rock.
Oh,
Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage,
Yeah.
brilliant film. Ed Harris, love Ed Harris, I think he's brilliant. Reservoir Dogs.
Oh yeah, first Quentin movie.
Yeah. Again, another that's a bit of a game changer. Once that turned up, everything went a bit.
I do like Michael Madsen.
Yeah.
And
all of that kind of comes from
surprised he
that.
didn't do as many movies as he did, really. Michael Madsen.
Yeah, how many has he
proper
done?
ones. Oh, like proper ones. I mean, not like these. You know, he's in a movie that I really like called Species. Have you ever watched that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad movie.
Alfred Miller, Natasha.
Yeah. Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, Ben Kingsley.
Well, he's in Kill Bill.
But again, there's about 4 of those species.
Yeah.
There's about 4 of them.
But they get worse.
They are. They're
Progressively worse.
watchable. I wouldn't say they're
The first
killer.
one's actually pretty decent.
Have you ever seen? Oh, that's Robert.
You right?
Yeah, I'll do it in a minute. It's fine. Rob, if I didn't answer, it's because.
But yeah, pretty decent movie. But what else have you got for your R?
For other R's, I actually have. Right, so we did that. Raise the Titanic, which was something from when I was a kid, because it was brilliant. I kind of got into doing things with. Sorry, I am. This is believe it or not, this is me multitasking.
Right.
Which is why I'm not doing it very well. It's one of the films that I watched as a kid because I really liked the Titanic story as a kid. When it all came out, I learned a lot about the ship. And Raise the Titanic is another one of those films that actually was a novel first. So I mentioned him earlier, a guy called Clive Cussler, who pretty much where his main hero in it is a guy called Dirk Pitt.
Right.
And he plays this guy who finds shipwrecks. finds places, bits and bobs and everything to either get rid of the next baddie in the west, to the east and everything, who wants to take over the world. But one of them is they're looking for this kind of material, and some of it was put on the ship before it went. So the only way they can get to it, because they can't put it, is to bring the ship up.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first books he did. He did a couple, Mayday and that, but Raise the Titanic was something like the fourth novel I think he did. And it really kicked off, and they made a film of it. So it's about 1985, and it's Jason Robards, it's Alec Guinness. There's a load of people in it.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a really good little film. Really good little film. Again, it's before we knew the ship broke apart, so the Titanic does come up as one whole ship. But it's one of those silly little films where I can watch it over and over again, and I know what's going to happen, but I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, I've that with many movies.
Yeah, it's one of them. And the only other one as well, because of the music and everything, and Crystal Maze, so I used to like Richard O'Brien. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely love it. The music is brilliant. The film, I mean, crikey, I had my old trainer, when I was a train driver, he must have gone about 10 times to watch the show and dress up and whatnot. And it's great fun. I mean, not that I've done it, but...
Yeah. You happy to go on to S's?
Right.
We got 19 minutes to fly through.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. 8 letters.
Yeah. So
I think a lot of them speak for themselves.
We've done Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
We've done Shaun of the Dead, and again we did touch onto things of redoing. So again, for me, Star Trek 2009, Chris Pine, Carl Urban, Zachary Quinto, Sean as Scotty. I think they're really, really good as the crew. There are some, but again, it's the same kind of thing like we were talking with the last Star Wars films, where everybody goes, "Oh, the J.J. Abrams universe." And again, the first two, I think, Episode 7 and Episode 8 are J.J. Abrams as well, aren't they?
7 and 9.
7 and 9.
8 is Ryan Johnson.
Yeah. So where are you looking at that? We're now doing a load of things which are a bit of the Abrams universe.
Yeah.
Which for Trek they call the Kelvin universe. Again, like we were saying, no, we're going to ignore Episode 7 onwards.
Yeah.
But I think, as a fan, there is part of you, certainly as a Trekkie myself, where I'm a Star Trek fan, where I'm glad to see new stories come out. I'm like, it's Trek.
Yeah.
So, it's
were
nice
they new stories, or were they just treading over the old
There was a couple, I mean, the first film isn't so much like that. The second one, where they get Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan, is a bit... You're like, don't mess with folklore. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but there would have been people who've never watched Ruther Khan and gone, oh, I like Benedict. I've watched Sherlock. I really like him.
Yeah.
And I like this new crew. That's cool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you don't know. It's fine. The thing, and we had a lot of problems with this, because one of the other problems, you might have problems with it the longer on Star Wars has series. Because we've got Skeleton Crew coming out.
Yeah.
And again, there's going to be people that go, no, you're milking this. And there's going to be people who go, oh, this is great.
I think a lot of people are going to say, who asked for this?
Yeah, exactly. And that will come up a lot. When Star Trek Discovery come out, and basically the main leader of it, who's Burnham, she basically starts a war for really being nosy. Starts that off, Klingons come along, blow up the Shinzo, and you're like, she then gets later on promoted to captain.
Right.
And you're like, you started a war and she's been promoted for it. And you're like, hang on a minute. But there are people who would go, it's not Trek. And you're like, give it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Come on, give it a bit of time. There are people who won't watch Lower Decks, which is basically an animated comedy version in the Star Trek universe.
Right.
And it's like I was saying with
Well,
Wine.
but it's the same with Star Wars though. A lot of people won't watch the Clone Wars. Oh, it's animated. It's made.
The animated series is really bloody good.
I love the animated series.
But it's going back to what we were talking about earlier with Batman.
Star Wars the Clone Wars.
Yeah, Batman. Batman, the series there that are animated up
really
to beyond.
Good.
They're really, and they're really dark as well.
Yeah,
they're really
Tim
really
Burton.
Dark. They're really dark. And again, it's like now you're watching modern films, and certainly things like Suicide Squad, where you're going, oh, Harley Quinn and everything. Harley Quinn was made for the animated series.
Yeah, she's great in the animated
which
series.
Is what, 1992?
And she's not in many episodes, as you
think.
think.
No, she's not.
No.
And it's one of those things where you sit there and think, it's one of those things where you sit there and think, watch it and make your mind up.
Yeah, don't just read
watch it and make your
Reddit
mind
or
up. Yeah.
watch a YouTube
I've
video.
seen so many people go, I'm not watching Discovery. I'm not watching Picard. And you're like, are you a Star Trek fan?
Yeah.
Or are you a Star Trek fan that will watch Star Trek, or are you you like your version of Star Trek?
Yeah.
And anything that comes in and doesn't fit with it,
It's the
then
same,
you get
same
pissed.
as I was mentioning hours ago about the, you have your people that like have a certain take on something, and they'll only watch other people's take of it. So they'll only watch the certain bit of thing that they like, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
You know what you like and what you don't like. You wouldn't buy a pizza and then put toppings on it that you don't like.
No.
Because you know it's going to ruin the pizza.
Yeah, you'd ruin the pizza.
Yeah.
We've mentioned Spaceballs.
Yes.
We've mentioned Shaun of the Dead.
Yes.
Little 80s throwback to a film that I adored from the 80s, Short Circuit.
Oh, okay, right.
Oh, what a brilliant little
Short
film that is.
Circuit.
Fisher Stevens. And for the second one, remember it?
Oh,
Johnny Five?
yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
that
So,
guy.
Johnny Five, and silly little film. Brilliant.
Okay.
But yeah, Ali Sheedy and Steve Guttenberg for the first one. Brilliant little film.
I've got 3 for S.
All go
That
through.
I've wrote down anyway.
Go on.
Scarface.
Oh yeah, which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
again.
I love
And
Scarface.
again, it's a remake, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a remake.
It is a remake.
Yeah. Shrek. My favourite animated.
Again,
Favourite animated movie.
I have very fond memories of the first. And again, the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, the first
on it,
one, yeah.
The first one. Again,
Oh.
the soundtrack for the first and second one is really, really good.
Hilarious.
Yeah, and it is a good.
Yeah.
It is a good little film.
And in my top 3 movies of all time,
Go on.
Schindler's List.
What a film!
It is.
What a film!
There's no great time to watch Schindler's List, but you have to watch it.
I think is that John Williams again?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg, John Williams, Liam
I
Neeson, Ben
can't-
Kingsley again.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's Schindler's
Ralph
List.
Fiennes.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's Schindler's List, but I'm sure because is it a Spielberg film?
It is, yeah. He was reluctant to do it, but
Yeah,
he did it.
he was a bit reluctant to do it, and I think he went. It was either him.
It's Universal Pictures.
Yeah, it was either him that was asked about it, or it was John Williams that was asked about it, and said, "It's one of two things." Said, "Would you do this film?" And he went, "This I cannot do this.
Yeah.
I cannot because of the content
The tone,
of it. Yeah,
yeah.
the tone of the film. It's I can't do it." And they went, basically, I think it was when he asked John Williams to do it. He said, "Well, you want whoever is best for music for this," and he went, "Well, you're the best."
Yeah.
And it's really one of those difficult films, but a hell of a film.
Oh, it is.
Hell of a film.
Yeah.
And it's another one of those things where I would have to be in the mood to watch
Yeah,
it.
it's moving.
Yeah.
It's very moving.
It's a moving-
And it's a long stint as well.
Yeah,
It's a
so
long
Schindler's
movie.
List, Boy in the Striped Pajamas,
Yeah.
that kind of thing is
Oh,
very
there's loads.
very powerful
The
film.
Pianist.
Pianist. Oh, what a film! Yeah,
Saving Private Ryan. But like,
yeah, same. Yeah,
Yeah.
again.
It depends. Like, you got World War II movies and you got World
Yeah.
War II Holocaust movies.
Yeah.
Like Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Boy in the Striped
Schindler's
Pajamas,
List.
yeah, just
have you watched Downfall? It's the final days of Hitler. It's a
No, I've
German
heard of
movie,
it. I've
yeah.
never watched it.
It's the one that's on YouTube, the funny
Yeah.
compilation when he finds out that Michael Jackson's passed and he can't get refund on the tickets. I'll show you. You'll know it straight. You'll know it straight away.
The other ones for me as well is the skull, which I mentioned.
Yeah, that scene.
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he's shaking
Yeah.
with his glasses
Yeah,
off and
I
all
have,
that. Yeah. Well, it's a German-made World War II movie. Really, really good. But it's all in like German subtitles.
I might have to watch
So,
that. That's
yeah.
quite cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the skull, which is Peter Cushing, which is where basically he's an antique dealer,
Right.
and he gets a book and the skull that's supposedly the skull of the Marquis de Sade,
Right.
and it gives him power and things like that. There are people after. That's a good little film. One of those what I call claustrophobic film where you where you kind of like, oh, hang on a minute. It's a really good little film. Something like 65, I think. Something silly like that. It's a good film.
It's The Skull.
The Skull.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, R65.
Yeah.
Cult film. Good film, but it's how they film it as well.
Right.
So you're looking at them
What
talking
is
to the skull.
Marcus de Sade?
Marquis de Sade.
Yeah, what is that?
Marquis de Sade is the kind of... He was supposedly one of those people that was like, loved orgies. Things like that. Was one of those people of like, oh, he thought he could... Oh, I don't know what
the
he
opposite
could
of
do.
like a god.
Yeah,
basically.
he kind of like was into this thing of... Well, no, he wasn't. There was this... He liked excess and things like that.
Right.
And depending on who you talk to and what you read, depends on what comes out. But in the 60s and 70s, they needed kind of like a thing to make films of. And in actual fact, there is a modern version, which I think is early 90s, mid 90s, which is Geoffrey Rush and Kate Winslet, and I think the film's called Quills, and it's basically how Geoffrey Rush plays the Marquis de Sade, and it's basically like his ride and his fall and what happens.
Yeah,
good
Quills,
yeah, there you are. And it's one of those things where you follow it, and then he basically is incarcerated. He's put in an asylum, and it all goes a bit skew-whiffed.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, there's a load of people in it. Michael Caine's in it. Yeah, there's loads of people. Good little film, if you like that kind of like biopic-y old time thing.
That was have you got any more S's?
I've got a couple that I will mention. Sunshine. It's a Danny Boyle film.
Right.
And it didn't do very well. It didn't do very well at all.
1999?
Yeah.
Oh, Ralph Fiennes?
No, that's a different one.
Oh, okay.
That's directed by Sahabo.
1973?
No, 2007.
Oh.
Try that. There you are, that's it.
Okay.
And it's got a load of people in it. Michelle Yeoh, Rose Byrne's in it. Cillian Murphy's in it. Good little film. Basically, the sun's dying, and they send a ship to blow a bomb up in the sun to get it going again. And they send it on a ship called Sunshine. Sunshine 2, actually, I think, because the first one buggers up. Good little film.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasure of mine, Super Mario Brothers film. Bob Hoskins,
God.
John Leguizamo, Dennis Hopper. If you want something cheesy to watch, it wasn't brilliant, but I love it because it reminds me of my childhood.
I look at it and I'm like,
and he cringes. Yeah. Scary Movie, those films.
Yeah, scary movie ones.
You've got to bring them up. The
Scary
first
Movie
three,
one
I
is
think.
hilarious.
Yeah, one's great.
Oh no, 4's good to start off
yeah,
with.
Actually, yeah.
4 has some the
Funny
scenes,
moments,
the scenes with Saw's another S as well, actually, the Saw franchise. But yeah, he wants us to cover our feet, and he goes, wrong foot. And he's still got the chain.
Yeah, the chain, yeah. And the only
he starts to feel in it because who's the other guy? It's Shaq, isn't it? Shaquille O'Neal at the start.
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal, Dr. Phil. And Shaquille O'Neal goes, he wants us to cover our feet. And Dr. Phil goes, shit. I love that.
They're brilliant. I really do think they're
the Superman movies are great.
Yeah.
The Wayne brothers. Is it the Wayne brothers?
Wayne brothers. There was a couple of films in the same kind of vein. I think it was
like
Haunted House.
Disaster
Yeah,
movie.
Haunted House was one of them. I think there's two of them now. Some of them are hilarious. They're great. But the only other two I was really going to mention is, for me, my favourite film, Star Trek Motion Picture from '79. But that's where it all kind of started
your favourite
for me.
movie?
Yeah, it all started for me. That is another Jerry Goldsmith, who's done music for loads of things, Gremlins, Trek, Alien.
Right.
He did all the music for that. Mm-hmm. He might have even done Halloween actually as well. I don't know.
John Carpenter did his
He
own
did a
music.
bit of it, yeah. I know he did one for one of them, but I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Carpenter.
Yeah.
I actually prefer the second movie, the 1981.
Oh really?
Halloween thing.
Part two. Yeah.
Bum 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 bum.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit more like 80 techno.
It is. It's very synthy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, motion picture, because the actual soundtrack off of that I must have listened to 1,000 times. Also, Silent Running. Silent Running is
Silent Hill.
it's a science fiction movie.
1972.
Yes, and it was done by the same guy that did all the model shots for Star Trek Motion Picture, a guy called Douglas Trimble.
Mm-hmm.
And it's set aboard a ship called the Valley Forge, and it's one of these it's one of those things like Doomwatch and that where basically people began to become aware that we were buggering up the planet.
Right, like Wally.
Yeah, and basically the premise is that we've buggered up the planet. We've built all these things, so we build these ships that have got these giant biodomes. They've got plants, fruit, veg, all that kind of thing. And they put them on this place, and like Battlestar Galactica, fuck them off somewhere else to make another house. Make another Earth. And this one, and there's a brilliant, lovely little tidbit here. The ship in Silent Running is called the Valley Forge. And to do all the running round, they needed a ship that looked like it was run by the Navy and was run down and everything.
Right.
And they actually went and filmed it on the aircraft carrier, the Valley Forge.
Okay.
So the ship that it is meant to be, but was an old aircraft carrier. Anyway, Bruce Dern's in it, and it's where you get the other term as well from the little robots. There's two little robots that were worked by people in them, and they were called Huey, Dewey and Louie.
All right.
And what happens is, I'm going to ruin it, but watch it anyway. But basically, he gets very, very in space. Your brain sometimes plays silly buggers and whatnot, and he gets very, very adamant on completing the mission. And then what happens is that the people running the gaff basically say, we don't need to do this anymore. Blow them up. And he spent years and years and years
trying to the robots.
So blow up the robots, blow up the ship, get rid of the greenhouses, blow up the ship. And he goes, I'm not going to do it. So he kills the crew, blows up the ship, and lets the domes free. And each robot looks after one of the domes, and everybody's dying, everybody's killed. It's a really, really, really deep film.
Yeah.
But he kind of sits there and goes, no, just because of your little, whatever it is, I'll take that you've going on, doesn't mean everybody else should need to suffer.
Yeah.
And saves the domes, blows up the ships, and basically doesn't give them a chance.
The poster looks like something like the Atari.
Yeah. It was very much of that time. But yeah, get a chance. It's a silly little film, but watch it. T.
Now, obviously, Terminator is my favourite movie of all time.
Now, you know how that come about, didn't you?
The Terminator movie.
Yeah.
Go on, and I'll say yes or no.
So James Cameron had fever.
Right.
He had a fever, and he wasn't very well, and he was either in bed at home or was in hospital. And during this fever, he had basically a dream.
Right.
Stroke nightmare, stroke moment. And during this thing, he sees this machine as a skeleton, but made of metal, come out of flames with burning red eyes. And that's where
he got the idea.
idea for Terminator. And that's where the scene for the tanker, when it blows up at that section.
Like, we did it, Carl!
And it's the stop motion, where it comes out and pulls itself out. That's the vision he had in his dream.
Oh,
that's how it came about. Did you not know that?
No.
Yeah,
no.
so it's in... There's a brilliant little series, I think, as well on Netflix, like how films came about.
Right.
And it goes through Jaws, Jurassic Park's on there, there's loads of stuff. Watch them, brilliant little series. But Terminator's one of them, and it comes to him when he had a fever dream.
I can't put into words like the why I love Terminator. And there's a couple of things I can say, like keywords, the music, fantastic, Brad Friedel, just the, what an opening song. I love to me, it's the very definition of sci-fi. It's like that futuristic, like you know, a robot going against it's good v evil. You know,
it's weird.
Great story. It's a
brilliant story, and I think that's why it does come back. Even though we will sit there like with what is it, Dark Genesis?
Oh, what's Terminator Genesis?
Genesis, and the other one's Dark Fate or whatever it is.
Yeah, there's Dark Fate.
We'll sit there and go, this is going to be shit, but we will watch it.
Yeah, same. I went to cinema for both of them.
And it's brilliant how we've kind of got Benson and Hedges, like cigarette makers, to thank for like that bit in the press where it's down like that, and the eye socket's there.
Yeah.
And the red light gradually goes out. So all of that was done with the press, which is polystyrene on a metal plate. The eye socket's there and the red LED, and they basically run a dying battery. They run the dying battery until it dies. And while they're there, there's a bloke just off scene on a fag going, and that's the smoke you see, and then they slow it down.
Oh, right.
So the battery dies, the light goes out, and the smoke comes out from all the machinery. That is literally an LED circuit, polystyrene thing, and fag smoke.
All of that, like that, what you've just mentioned there, and then you compare that to Terminator 2, it's like Terminator 2 had such more a budget.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I love the Terminator 1 more than Terminator 2. I love Terminator 2.
But that's why I was talking about earlier with B movies. They want to make but they haven't got much money.
Yeah. £3.20, I think.
It was about that.
Yeah. Adjusting for inflation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that ending as well, you just mentioned, like, you're Terminator fucker. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
But I was like, really quite young when I watched that, so like hearing Terminator fucker,
I think a lot of people were because I don't think
it's quite a violent movie.
It's a very violent film, and it's also one of those ones where you kind of like you remember when you first watched it.
Yeah,
it's another one. Of
the
those...
only thing I couldn't watch was the eye pulling out, like when he pulled out the eye and he drops it into the sink, and he's like rubbing his eye, and you can see like obviously it's really like crap. And I looking back, but back then I was like, holy shit, person with a red eye, like. Just everything really about it. The music, the when he's like throwing the bombs and he's trying to get him off the thing, the motorbike.
brilliant.
And the red eye, the display, and like he's got the targeting system.
Yeah,
and all that.
yeah.
Man, that is just
anything that's machinery with red eyes and that's like Brightburn. Anything that's got red eyes and looks evil, I'm a sucker for.
Yeah, I'm like,
I will watch it.
Yeah,
it just looked cool.
Yeah, vampires seem to usually have a red eye, don't they?
Yeah.
The only other movie I had down was Toy Story because yet again my childhood
started.
Toy Story 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
2's better than 1 in my opinion, but
I like 1. I can't remember 2 that much.
Woody gets taken away by that the guy who owns the shop across the road. The chicken man.
I have seen it.
And he's making a collection of Woody's Woody's Roundup.
And the third one's with
they get put in the
Kelsey Grammer with isn't it like not a cowboy but kind of like a sheriff, not sheriff.
No, the third one is they're in the like a kindergarten.
I've seen that
one.
Andy's
put them up in the loft.
Yeah,
and all
that one I've seen as well. Yeah, the kids used to watch
but that one's not near as good as the first two. That's my tease anyway.
Only ones for me. I thought the Transporter films were quite good.
Right, okay,
first one especially. 2001, which I mentioned, Twister, Bill Paxton film, Helen Hunt.
Right, okay.
Brilliant film. I love that film. That's Jan de Bont film who did Speed.
Oh yeah, Speed. Yeah, that's a good movie.
And we've just had a new one, Twisters, which was released.
Right,
so that's the carry on. It's not completely linked to it, but it's linked to it.
I'm not really a fan of these type of type movies.
Yeah, I love all that blowing shit up. And the other one as well that I was going to mention, Tron. Do you know Tron?
Oh, like Tron Legacy.
Yeah, Tron Legacy.
There's a ride
is the
of Tron at Disney. That I've not been to Disney, but apparently I was speaking to a guy at work, and you literally like sit down in the thing, like that, and it actually like straps your legs in and all that. Yeah.
So the bikes and everything, and the bridge things that come and destroy.
So like this.
Yeah.
You're like that.
Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does.
So your legs actually in. So it's like you're riding the.
Yeah. If you like all the symphony music, like Brad Fiedel and that, listen to the soundtrack from that as well, because the first one.
I'll call him Friedel. It's Friedel.
Yeah.
But
listen to the first one, which is very symphony. The second soundtrack, Tron Legacy, is Daft Punk.
Oh right, yeah.
There's some. It's really, really good.
Around the world, guy.
Around the world, around. And there's an old film as well, Titfield Thunderbolt, which is about. It's an alien comedy. And it's, I think, something like 40s, 50s, no, it'd be 50s.
Right.
And it's about, like, a town with their railway and that. But it's one of those watch, feel good. I haven't got to be in a mood to watch it. I love films like that.
I think we should be able to get through the last 6 letters.
Yeah, I
quite
think
quickly.
so. Yeah.
You was Untouchables. You've not watched that, did you say?
Yeah, no, that's what I made a question mark. I've never watched it.
It's
that
really
or
good.
The Usual Suspects.
Sean Connery and the guy from Bodyguard.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Really good movie. It's
I'm
about
going to have to watch that.
trying to get Al Capone.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch
Really good movie.
Because that's why I mentioned it when you were talking about Goodfellas and everything. I knew it was something
it's
like
a decent,
that.
It's really
I've
decent.
never watched it.
So Sean Connery's like an old police officer, and then this guy's obviously a detective, the other guy, and they work together. Yeah. It's a bit of like a dynamic. So it's like, oh, I'm the old guy. No, mate, I'm doing a bit more than just police work.
Jumping back one. Have you ever seen Seven? Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
That's a good film. That's a good film.
Well, that's like the premise, or like the people, like, is it something to do with Saw? Seven and Saw have got like a little bit of a.
I don't know. I know Seven was because it was the 7 sins, deadly sins.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
Is there a connection then?
Yeah.
They're the same premise, but from different ends.
Yeah.
Saw tells the story from the other.
Yeah, I thought Saw was inspired by Seven.
Maybe.
Yeah,
but from
Seven's a great movie.
Seven's a brilliant film.
Yeah. That's a bit dark though as well.
Yeah, that's a very dark film. The only other thing for you that I had was a Star Trek film which is called Undiscovered Country, and that's like the last full run of the old crew. Right. But it's that guy that I was telling you about, Nicholas Meyer.
So that's Shatner, isn't it? The old crew.
Shatner,
when you say old crew, the new crew is like
Chris Pine and that.
Oh, I thought you meant X-Men now.
Right, so Picard. So Picard is basically Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
But that's Star Trek: The Next Generation. The one with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto is a reboot of the original series. Right, yeah. So the old series originally from Undiscovered Country. That was
I've got Underworld. Have you ever watched that?
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
They're good films. There's about 5 of them now, and they're Blood Wars and all that. They're quite good, I think.
I had A View to a Kill and Van Helsing.
View to a Kill, Van Helsing. Have you ever watched any of the Hitchcock films? Things like Vertigo, stuff like that. Psycho?
I've watched Psycho.
Yeah.
Not Vertigo though.
No, Vertigo. A lot of the Hitchcock films, you get in actual fact, if you watch a lot of those if you watch a lot of those older films that are black and white, you will gradually see where a lot of films.
Black and white movies don't bother me at all.
Yeah, I love them.
White,
I think and you will see a lot of where modern filmmakers get a lot of their views and everything.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think they're really.
Everyone's
really
inspired from what's happened in the past. That's why we have to learn from the past, don't we?
Well, did you ever watch Bates Motel?
No,
because that's based on where Psycho.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Bates Motel.
Yeah,
but
the only other one as well I have for V was Virus, which is a Daniel Baldwin, Jamie Lee Curtis film. But it's one of those sci-fi films where it's quite graphic in how it happens, but it's a good little film. Right, W?
World Is Not Enough.
Yes. Yeah.
The last James Bond movie of the century.
Yeah. Robert Carlyle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
James really likes World Is Not Enough.
Yeah. The game was good as well, actually.
Yeah,
the
game was on really PS1 good. And on N64. The Christmas Jones, great.
So
Bond girl.
Yeah, so you had the two girls in that one.
I always
so
forget her name.
Denise Richards.
Yeah, he always gets pissed off.
And on the other side,
she used to go out with Charlie Sheen, didn't she?
Something like that.
Yeah.
And on the other side, the baddie side, you had Sophie Marceau.
Oh yeah, Electra,
who was in
who gets kidnapped and then falls in love with her kidnapper. Very weird,
weirdly. But yeah, she was
that does happen though, doesn't it?
It does a lot. Yeah,
if you look back,
it does. It's another one of these things that I think is proved very, very much by Love Island. If you spend enough time with someone, you might fall for them.
Yeah,
and that's I think really
something that's annoying you about them. You actually,
it's a little thing. But you see it a lot in other things. I mean, probably for pop culture and that, Andre and Jordan in I'm a Celeb.
Yeah.
Things like that, and Big Brother and Love Island
Love
recently, where basically they're in close
the original
quarters.
Big Brother, not this new.
Not this new lot. No, but that kind of thing, you kind of. Again, and it's also kind of what fuels the films around Silence of the Lambs, where when you get in their head enough and can understand
good movie as well.
Yeah, again, that Hannibal and Red Dragon. It's one of those
for tea as well. Speaking of like the old school movies, Taxi Driver. I watched that for the first time, and only once, like lockdown, I think it was. Good, but it's one of them like sort of like
it's deep,
like American Psycho as well. It's like. The movie ends. I'm like, like same with No Country for Old Men. I'm like, like there must be some message I'm not receiving from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
there's quite a few films like that as well where you're like, hold on a minute. It actually ended about 10 minutes before, and the end is just fade out literally.
The other W I had is Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. Good film. Good film, DiCaprio.
The only thing is, I would like to see Matthew McConaughey in it more than he was, because he was so good in that
movie. I really
like
Matthew McConaughey. I think he's quite a good actor. As I mentioned before, Rafa Khan for Star Trek, which is the Trek that Trekkie people of the original series really like, that and Undiscovered Country. War Games. You ever seen War Games? That's another one.
I've heard. I've definitely heard of it.
It's another one of those films that it's Matthew Broderick and Ali Sheedy. And basically, he hacks into
the US military,
and basically he can control which country he bombs.
Yeah,
and basically they're all saying, "Hang on a minute, are you telling me he hacked into it and could do what he likes?"
Mueller's Day Off guy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And Godzilla, like 1997. Oh yeah. And it's really intriguing, because you sit there and think, hang on a minute, so if anybody did hack it, they can do anything, and they can.
Yeah.
It's happened before, and you're like, Jesus Christ. The only other thing as well with things that might happen or whatever, going back to the Ray Harryhausen and things like that, War of the Worlds and When Worlds Collide. I love those films, those 50s films.
Yeah.
And I love War of the Worlds, the book as well, H.G. Wells. But the only other one, really to mention, you ever heard of something called When the Wind Blows?
No.
So When the Wind Blows come out, it's mid-80s, I think. And it's semi-written by the same guy.
86.
That's it.
It's an animated.
Yes, and it's written by the same guy who did The Snowman.
Oh, okay.
Raymond Briggs or whatever it is. And basically,
Raymond Briggs.
And basically, it says there, is it disturbing? What happens is you follow...
Is it for children?
No. it's one of these things. So there's two people in it. They're a married couple.
It is not primarily aimed at children.
But what it is it's basically a nuclear bomb goes off, and the guy in it, who's voiced by John Mills, basically says to his missus, "We'll be all right. Everything's fine. The government has said this will happen. This will happen.
Naive elderly couple.
And if we follow it, we'll be fine." And gradually they get ill, and gradually she gets worse, and whatnot. And it's one of those things where you see. It's really in depth, and it's like going back to what I was talking about before, with like Land of Time, Land Before Time, and things like that. It's basically this could happen.
Yeah,
you really think they're bothered about you if this happens, and it's really clever in the fact that basically it happens. They follow.
It's like the everyday person,
and they follow because that's all we are is the everyday person, and then you look at it and you read it and go, that's things like that are more true to happening than any other film you'd watch.
Yeah. Which is scary, isn't it?
And that's what makes it scary. Yeah, that's what makes it scary.
Because it could happen.
Star Trek 1, in a very, very short thing, a machine that we have launched before called Voyager. So Voyager in the 70s, there was 1 and 2, and they went out beyond Jupiter and everything. And basically their mission was get all knowledge available. And they did, and they relayed it back. Star Trek 1 based that one of the Voyagers lands near an alien planet, and the alien planet goes, "Well, you've learnt all you can, we'll send you back."
Yeah.
So it sends Voyager back, but to the point where it's so powerful, it knows so much that anything it touches is destroyed. And you look at it and you go, hang on a minute. You know how we are with the Bible now?
Yeah.
Let's say 1,000 years on from now, let's say there's been nuclear whatever, and aliens land, and they actually pick up the Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter and look at them like we look at the Bible now.
Yeah.
And you sit there and think, that's possible. I can't sit there and go, it will definitely happen, but I can't sit there and go, it definitely won't happen.
No. Same as any plots of movies.
Exactly.
The machine could turn on us.
Well, I mean, it ain't being funny. Look at the robots that are built by Honda and everything in Japan that can carry bombs. They can do it.
Yeah.
So it's things like that when you look
at
put
a bomb in a phone or a suitcase or whatever.
Yeah, and then when you sit there and you think this isn't science fiction anymore.
Yeah,
it's science fact. And then you sit there and go, what?
Yeah,
it's like this thing I've never understood. I mean, I watch them. I've seen them. They're on telly. But the news is filled with fucking. Someone's blown this up, someone's blown that up, someone's kidnapped this person, someone's killed this, blah, blah, blah. And then you go, God, Jesus, it never stops. Bam. Let's watch Vera. Let's watch another crime thing. Let's watch another. And you're like, so you've decided not to watch it because it's happening.
There's a piece in people's, like, heads, like myself included, that want to know the more, like, not disturbing, but the more, like... oh shit, this could happen rather than what has happened sort of thing. So that's why a lot of people go, oh, well, you watch history movies.
I mean, we're naturally kind of this media kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's our kind of thing.
The sci-fi,
and when you're talking to people, I mean, it's like...
Post-apocalyptic.
Meeting people new, right? Meeting people new. They'll come up and they're like, oh, you're Edmo, and talk. And naturally, the thing that I either lead with is music or film.
Yeah.
And you're talking about...
And if they're not connecting with you, it's like...
And the weird thing is, you'll find a lot of women, I'm sorry, but there are a few women that I have spoken to, and you go, I love serial killer things.
Yeah, they do.
Axe murderer things, real murder documentaries. Yeah. And you're like...
There is a thing.
Is it really you watch it, or is it research? What is going on here?
Yeah.
Are you actually...
Yeah.
Why do women love serial killers?
They do. And I think there is a TV series for it, like... Because it's some sort of weird psychological thing.
I think it's because, almost like what that top bit says up there, most of the time the killer is a bloke and you feel sorry for the woman.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a joint, I don't know. But it's incredibly true.
You want to find out more because you're intrigued.
Yeah.
But like you're intrigued.
I love, there's a series on Netflix where the mysteries and that, unsolved mysteries. I love an unsolved mystery. And yeah, that kind of thing is
there's a lot of interview with a serial killer and stuff like that, and you get like one perspective, like his perspective, and then you actually get the real one. It's like, oh shit, it's nothing like what he thinks went down.
And I think, again, pulling it back to films, is why a lot of people like some of the baddies. Joker.
Everyone
Two-Face.
loves Joker. Yeah.
Khan.
Harley Quinn.
In Star Trek. Harley Quinn. Khan in Star Trek. He was made, so he's a genetic hybrid, if you like, and he has his people, and his job in his eyes is to look after his people. Plus, he's also
so like Thanos.
Yeah, so he's genetically made. So he's like, don't be pissed off with me. You made me.
Yeah.
Don't get fed
like
up.
AI.
Don't get fed up with me because your fucking thing worked.
Yeah.
And so you get these baddies where you're like, I can actually see his point of view.
Yeah. Mad, isn't it?
And then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's things like that. So X. Have you got any more W's?
X-Men. I've got
X-Men.
Oh no, I've got no more W's. X-Men.
X-Men and the X-Files films. I thought they were quite good.
They did movies with the X-Files.
There's two of them. Yeah.
Oh right, okay.
So there's one that's between season 5 and 6 or 6 and 7, about that midway mark. And then after season 9 finished, I think they did one more, and then they weren't going to do any more. And then we got the 2 series that we've got now that which kind of tie everything up. But yeah, they're good. The
That's
first
my
one's
only
brilliant,
X,
which
so,
follows
X-Men.
kind of follows an episode that I think was called Piper Moreau. That was really, really good. But yeah, X-Men in its own. I love how X-Men kind of goes. They're getting older. We switch it back to literally how Star Trek went and Wars to
prequels.
Yeah, and then kind of because what is it? Days of Future Past, isn't it?
Yes,
That's
ties the two together.
It ties the two together.
Yeah,
that's quite cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Why I've got You Only Live Twice, obviously. Yeah. And have you ever watched You Don't Mess with the Zone?
No, I have heard of it. Though.
Oh, Adam Sandler movie. Yeah, it's quite funny. Yeah,
I might have to.
It's one of them like it's not like it's no like Happy Gilmore or Big Daddy or but or Little Nicky or
Little Nicky,
Waterboy or something. Yeah. But it's still like it's got that esque of an Adam Sandler funny comedy movie. I just couldn't think of much for why. So
well, the only one. I mean, we've talked about like older films and that with directors, which is why I put Young Frankenstein there for Mel Brooks. But the main one was You Only Live Twice.
Yeah.
Because that Bond film, which is the 5th one, is great.
Yeah.
And the volcano and everything. And
Little Nelly as well.
Yeah, Little Nelly. And yeah, I love
probably
that.
my second favourite Connery.
Yeah, I love that one.
It's for me, my top 3 Connery is Goldfinger, You Only Live Twice, and then From Russia with Love.
And then From Russia with Love, yeah. I would say. I mean, I would even say, even with Thunderball...
I put You Only Live Twice in my top 5 Bond movies, I think, as well, with Goldfinger and Goldeneye.
See, I don't mind Diamonds Are Forever. It's not my favourite. But I don't think the Connery film, the first 5, I don't think there's really a bad Connery.
Oh, no. Where I said, like, earlier, like, hours ago, Diamonds Are Forever, like, it's like my third...
worst.
Third worst, yeah. I feel like it's still decent.
It is a decent film.
But, like, I'll still watch it, but there's better.
Yeah. And Zed, really, I was going to say, like, we mentioned Zulu. That's a good little film as well for what happened.
I've never watched it before, but Zero Dark 30. Yeah.
Brilliant film.
Is it? Yeah,
it's a search for Bin Laden, isn't it?
It's to do with Bin Laden.
I think so. It's something along those lines.
I knew it was something to do with like
the
Afghanistan-Iraq war, but I didn't know.
I think, is it the same director, the same woman who did Hurt Locker?
Oh, let's have a look.
Have a look, see.
2012 it came out.
Jesus Christ. Zero Dark 30.
Kate,
Big Chronicle of the Hunt for
Point Break.
Did
she direct Point Break?
She did Hurt Locker. I know she did Hurt Locker.
Yeah, Hurt Locker. Yeah.
And I know she did K-19, The Widowmaker. That's a brilliant little film.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know she did Point Break though.
He said something to do with Point Break. Yeah.
Near Dark's good. That's Bill Paxton.
Point Break. It's like hot fuzz, isn't it? Yeah. Have you ever fired a gun in the end?
Nick Frost in it.
Yeah. I think that's it, mate.
I think we're done.
We're literally done.
We did it.
Just over 4 hours. 4 hours 20. Well, to be fair, we spent an hour on. I think we were up.
We
to
went. We
A and B or
we
C.
had A and B and that.
I've really enjoyed it. And
that has been a giggle.
To be fair, it's one of them. Like I've not done a video in person for ages. Now I've done like 4 hours or like 4 hours 20 worth. So that's why I don't like. I could do like my top 5 James Bond movies, do that as a video, but I'd rather go more in depth like this and have a discussion with someone more than just talking by myself. Yeah. I can talk forever, but I want to talk to someone and get a back and forth conversation.
See, I think that's when people
like we could do. Sorry to interrupt you, but we could do like A to Z like movie music.
Probably.
For fuck's sake. Like, we could, I think we could do Batman, soundtrack. Danny Elfman.
I think we could do soundtrack. I think we
Casino Royale. We spoke a lot about the music in these.
I think next will be TV shows.
Yeah, I agree. TV shows.
I think TV shows.
Yeah,
I think
because I think TV shows will be quite thought provoking. So I think like, oh shit, yeah. You know what? A lot of mine will be. I was having a joke with myself about it because I remember you mentioned TV shows.
Yeah.
A lot of mine will be game shows.
Yeah,
like Golden Balls, Deal or No Deal.
Absolutely,
But they're still TV shows.
They're still TV shows, and I think again a lot of those things I think are really, especially now, because I think it's again taking it a little bit serious-ish.
That's right.
My mum watches like Chase, Tipping Point, and everything, but it's answering those questions and that keeps her brain ticking over.
Yeah. That's why they're on at the time they are.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that daytime stuff just keep you going. Oh, I know the answer.
The only one that's not is Deal or No Deal, because it's literally just open that box. James loves Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal.
To be fair though, when it's like a good one, like they've still got like 2 or 3 of the big boxes left, you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna watch. But
no, they are good. I think they're good. And as I said with this thing where they're bringing new bet back.
But you've got like Crystal Maze, which is
loved Crystal Maze.
It's not really a game, but it is, because they're like, you know.
Yeah, and it's again when you look at it as well how many incarnations there are of these things. Now.
Oh god, or different, like you were saying
different
earlier, different hosts.
Of the same thing. Yeah.
Like that one where you said about the like it's all for charity. The money,
you bet.
But they're like different hosts.
Hosts, yeah. You had Bruce Forsyth, Matthew Kelly, and then
Family Fortune has
Family
different
Fortunes,
ones. Yeah, Vernon Kay would be the one, but obviously you had.
I think you've got bloody what's it, and your Gino doing it now, or did have Gino?
Yeah, Gino DiCaprio was doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go.
But then like the Chase has only had Bradley Walsh.
Yeah, I think it only ever will have him actually.
Yeah, you just do it until like he retires. Will he ever retire?
That's his retirement fund.
Well, he was in Doctor Who.
He was, yes, yeah.
I didn't mind him.
I thought it was quite good.
Graham,
I step granddad in it to what's it?
Ryan,
yeah. No, they I really liked it.
But Doctor Who would be. We could do that's another episode we could do. We could go through every Doctor.
We could. Yeah. That might be something. Actually, we're going to have to list ideas of what we'll do. We'll do it at darts.
And when it gets to Tennant, I'm like, yeah. But that's where we had this conversation. We said, do you want to do another video at darts? And it was like, yeah. So it's just finding time in it as well.
It is, yeah.
Like, it's all well and good saying, we can do it, but then you need 4 hours. But when you had weather like this,
we've had weather like this, and bearing in mind we are 3 weeks away from Christmas.
I know, yeah.
So
that'll probably be our next video. Is either something to do with Christmas, like conversation, or it would be my Christmas quiz. So
Christmas, you do your Christmas quiz.
Yeah, I'll do it live. A lot of people watch it. They like doing the quiz along, but they have to keep pausing though because I'm like talking so fast.
Yeah, we can even do Christmas films actually.
Christmas
Only
films.
one I do.
Yeah, I've done Christmas music already. So the Christmas films. Obviously, Elf won't be on the list for yourself, but
there's a lot. There is a lot.
Die Hard we mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a Bond on, isn't there? At Christmas, always a Bond on.
Yeah. They sometimes just go through a certain actor, don't they? Like with all the Roger Moore,
all the Roger Moore. Yeah, they usually do that. Yeah, because I think.
Very rarely you get the Terminators
Quantum
on
of
telly.
Solace was on the other day, actually.
Yeah,
one of them was on.
Quantum's okay. I feel bad for Quantum because Quantum, I think, had like something to do with MGM and stuff. They didn't have that much money or something. The money wasn't there or something.
There was something going on.
Studio thing going on. So, but yeah, we've done 4 hours and 20 minutes because we didn't go straight to the hour. Yeah, it's been really good.
But now we know as well that it'll do extra. If we
exactly. So, well, thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
And hope you enjoyed that, guys. If you're still if anyone's going to be watching the 4th part, that's what seemed to happen.
That's why we're splitting.
That's what seemed to happen with the first one we did, the AZ video games. Like the first part, everyone's watching. It's like, oh, fucking another hour. So this one will probably get like 1 view.
Yeah, don't do it all in 1 hit.
No, we couldn't, could we?
No, don't do it all.
Because if we do 1 hit, like one of us is going to be on our own, someone's going to go to the toilet or grab a drink or whatever. Yeah. And it's just a bit too a stint. Whereas when you have that little 2-minute break, you're back into it again.
Watch the first hour and then another day watch the second.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what people do with podcasts. Don't they? Like I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan Experience, and it's like a 3-hour episode. I'm not watching the whole 3 hours.
That's mad. That's big.
Yeah, and he's non-stop. Or he'll go, I want to go for a pee, and then like they'll edit it, but like it'll be 1 second.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that.
Because he's got someone, I think it's called Jamie, who's like behind the camera.
Mediates it.
He's literally like the whiz. Like, if they're talking about something and it's like, well, that's a bit controversial, they'll get he'll Google it straight away and be like, oh yeah, shit, actually, you're right, or you're chatting shit.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you again, mate. And
no worries.
we'll catch you all guys in a bit. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.